my view for a moment. What you think? What do you think about that? Pretty cool, right? Not always a signal out here where I am. Get a little more light. Thanks for tuning in on a quick live. We got saying hello. By myself. The last time I went live, I wound up putting the live on private. I put the live on private because it upsets my wife when I go live, and or not even just live. If I talk about our private life, you know, if I talk about my son, if I talk about my children, if I talk about
in 800 feet, sharp left onto Blunt Road.
Talk about anything to do with, you know, what she would consider private. And I can respect that. I can totally respect that. You know, we have so much going on.
Take the next left onto Blunt Road.
We have so much going on with our 14-year-old son. And I just don't want her in any way to think that I'm like trying to hurt her feelings.
Continue on Blunt Road for 3/4 of a mile.
If I talk about it, because the only reason why I do talk about it is because that stuff be balled up inside of me, crazy. You know, I started to do like private vlogging. I started to do some private vlogging about what's been going on and my feelings about my son and all that kind of stuff. And I've listened back to some of that stuff. Oh my God, it's gold. That stuff is such great, amazing content that I am like this close away to telling my wife, deal with it. Whatever. Because we're not alone. We're not. This is her calling. Alright. Yeah, that was like a little bit of an emergency. LJ just witnessed a tractor trailer.
In 600 feet, turn right onto Massachusetts 23 West.
Just illegally dumping a bunch of crap near where we're at. And I'm just like, yo, get some video ASAP.
Take the next right onto Massachusetts 23 West.
Anyway, what was I saying before I got interrupted? By me thinking it was some sort of interception. Go live, don't be telling everybody what's going on with Cody. Come on.
Continue for 3 miles.
You know, I don't like that. It bothers me. Well, you know, I'm getting blowjobs more often. That bothers me that I'm not getting that. Let's keep it real. So, we both got shit to work on. But, you know, I was talking about the stuff the vlogs that I've done, you know, it's like, you know, I know that my wife and I are not alone. You know, my son right now is, the only way I could describe it is he's possessed. He's not the child that I knew. He's not the child that I knew. I don't know the person that he is right now. I do see a glimpse of it. We went to the movies. We go to the movies with the kids. It's like a every Wednesday thing. We've been doing that for about 2 months now. And my son fell asleep on my shoulder, my arms. And I remember I just like caressed his hair, and you know, just like I felt this amazing moment, which I knew while it was happening that it wasn't real. I knew that my son was just a boy who fell asleep in the movies on his dad's shoulder. That there wasn't anything more to it. It wasn't romantic. It wasn't loving. It wasn't caring. It just was a kid who fell asleep. And he proved that, even though I have to admit, it felt great, you know? Like,
welcome to New York.
Like my boy needs me still, you know? Even if it was just for that moment. And the other stuff I just said was just hindsight. That it wasn't, you know, this loving, caring, you know, I don't want to romanticize it like, oh, my son just fell asleep on my shoulder. No, that's not what it was. That's what I wished it was. But it wasn't, because as soon as he woke up, he was very angry, very, like it took him like within 30, 40 seconds to just be the angry kid. Again, back to that. And I don't know what made him angry. Something made him angry. Something happened to him. I don't know what it was. You know, I say things like the devil's got hold of my son, you know, because today kind of proved it a little bit, because he got himself in a little trouble today. And that trouble led to his mother having to go pick him up. And when she picked him up, she gets on the phone with me, and I'm like, what do you have to say for yourself? And he's like, nothing. I was like, oh, you got nothing to say? He's like, nah. And I was like, really? Nothing? Yeah, I'm being told by my girl, the kid said that he don't feel bad. He don't care, and you know, it is what it is. That's his attitude. It is what it is. I don't care.
Take the next left onto Yonderview Road.
And that's after, you know, the kid not even being home for 2 days. You know, the kid not even being home for 2 days, hanging out with a bunch of kids that don't have to be home. It's crazy. It's like, dude, you don't have that choice. When did you have the choice that you can just, you know, not be parented? It's really sad. You know, when I was 15 years old, I was emancipated minor, right? My dad went down to family court. He signed the papers. I had a job, and I was renting a room in Harlem on 126th Street between Lenox and Morningside. And, you know, I think about my son in a way where, like, he knows these things about me, and he's like, I could do it too. And I'm like, yeah, but, you know, I was only emancipated because I had a job and a parent willing to sign over. You know, I basically divorced my parents. But I was a working person. I wasn't a little, you know, I wasn't a menace to society. I never thought I was tough. I never acted out with anger. So why is my son so angry? I don't know. I'm sure there's somebody here who's has a son that's really angry, maybe they can help me understand. Because I just want to understand. I don't want there to be this turn here.
In 300 feet, make a U-turn. Make a U-turn, then turn left onto New York 23 East.
That's for sale. Just when I'm curious. Whoa. I like that. Am I too close? Oh, no. This is nice. Oh, it's been gutted. It's totally gutted. This is what I want. Turn this into a something. I could do something with this. And it's like all the gutted is happening. All the work is there. Look, here goes the phone number. I like these little things here. This is nice. These shades. This is really cool. I mean, it's so cool. Let me take a peek. Oh wow, look, it's totally gutted out. They got a big air conditioning unit up there. To the right. Can you see that? That's cool. Hey there! How are you? My fans are a little loud. I said my fans are so loud. Good to meet you. I'm Elvis. How you doing?
You are?
Elvis.
Elvis.
I like your hat.
Thank you.
Is that a Panama hat? You're not sure, right? You're like, how long have you had it?
This one's a decade.
Oh, a decade. Cool.
Palm leaves.
Beautiful.
Palm leaves.
Palm leaves. Yeah. Palm leaves hold up. Yeah. That looks great.
It's starting to go,
Yeah, you have another decade.
but maybe.
I'm looking at this Airstream. I love it.
Me too. I built the house instead.
This beautiful thing is yours, new.
Yeah.
That's
It's
cool.
duplex. It's two houses.
Oh, duplex. So, like, let me guess. Living space upstairs, downstairs, kitchen, and living room.
Mhm.
Nice.
And one bedroom downstairs in each one. That's an office, but it could be a bedroom
could be
if
a
somebody's
bedroom.
old.
Right.
I'm getting younger, so
And someone doesn't want to walk up the stairs.
Yeah.
Right.
it's an unusual building. It's not wood.
Oh, it's one of those. Oh yeah, these eco-friendly buildings. These,
It is.
yeah. I love
It's-
that. Man, my fan is so loud. I just got that replaced too. I didn't know why it's so loud.
Why is it coming on and off though?
Well, it's the one that's coming on and off is the one for the air conditioner. That's the one that keeps going on and off. The air conditioner one.
Oh, the engine is on.
The engine is on. Yeah, I
Okay.
jumped out
Oh, okay.
real quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you live nearby?
No, I'm actually from New York City.
I knew
I
about
was
it.
just I was just visiting a friend up over in the Berkshires. I was there for like 2 days and now I'm heading back. I said, let me go local.
Yeah.
I love local.
Walk in.
So let me ask you about the house. What are you like renting it out to people?
Oh,
or-
what it is? It's the
Let me
fifth-
turn this off. This is so loud. That's better.
So you looked in the windows, right? So what I did is
I saw that. It's
I
like
restored what's here.
right.
And then I missed one thing during the winter. I didn't do the electrical yet. And this piece of tape wasn't on. Water was running in. And so it's like, oh no.
I have there's a video that I have. Is that okay if I have a video going?
Sure.
All right, cool. I just wanted to be transparent. Whoa, look at
So,
this.
It's a new structural floor under it.
Dude, it
is
smells
an
like a
Airstream,
brand
but
new
it's an
house.
unusual one.
It smells like a brand new house. I smell like cedar and beautiful things.
Yeah, I think it's the cork, the finish on the cork, because of course it's baking in the sun right now.
Yeah, definitely.
It's insulated way more than any trailer. So what I did, it's aluminum, of course.
Right, of course. The Airstreams.
I've isolated this paneling from the aluminum because it's a conductor, you know? So the interior would be the same temperature as the outside unless you insulate and isolate the interior. So that's what I've done. I gave up, this has plenty of headroom, so I gave up a little bit of headroom to get as much insulation into as I could.
Right.
The whole underside is insulated. And the way these were built, this was 1989.
Okay.
The floors were particle board that was not waterproof then. And trailers have holes everywhere. I've sealed it up, so it doesn't leak now, except that I missed some things.
Well, you know, these companies they're practicing forced obsolescence.
Yeah. Not
They want
Airstreams.
not Airstreams.
Not Well,
Even though their floor
the
was
floor,
yeah,
the
yeah,
floor,
yeah, yeah. They want you to get a new
Yeah,
floor every
yeah.
20 years.
Well, and what you had to do with that floor is the body. You got the steel chassis, the wood floor, the body is bolted through the floor. So you
right.
had to lift the body off to replace the floor. So I did all that.
You had to take the whole body of the trailer off.
Well, what most people do, it's really funny. I looked at a lot of videos of how people did it,
Right.
and inevitably they did it someplace rural. They put the body, they hauled it off in a barn,
Right.
pulled the chassis out, rolled the chassis somewhere else. You only had to get it up an inch to clear the floor.
So you didn't go through all that
I raised
heartache.
it in place.
Do you mind if I step in?
Go right in.
Is this a step here I could use, or
Oh,
does that
well,
work? How's that?
Yeah. I don't have.
Wow, you dropped down so quickly. You're very agile, sir. I'm very impressed.
I'm only 102.
Only 102. Good. I'm 51, so I'm almost there. I'm halfway.
Okay, I haven't opened this in years. I don't remember how it
Well, maybe
opens.
we don't mess with it. Let me just step up. Oh, wait.
Now this is a lock to keep it in place. It does pop out somehow. Let's see if the other one opens.
No, don't worry about this. I'm gonna just step up. So what I wanna, I'll just.
You can grab this. This is.
Oh, this handle. Nice handle. Oh yeah, that feels kind of strong. I'm gonna have to go like this. Nice. Okay. I'm 6'2", so that gives another 2.5, 3 inches here.
Yeah.
4 inches almost. That's a lot of space.
Yeah.
Wow, the floor feels super solid.
Yeah, it's on.
Wow, I'm loving this. Jeez Louise. And what is this here? I thought air conditioner when I came by.
Heating and cooling.
Heating and cooling.
Yeah.
220?
240. Yeah.
240. So you're going to have a kick-ass generator to get this thing up and running.
If you're going to do
I'm
a
not-
generator, yeah.
Yeah, 95 and better.
I don't know.
Yeah. Like,
I always just plugged it in, but not here. What happened was I was buying land in Ulster County.
oh, yeah, I know Ulster County.
Okay. So that had power, it had water, everything was there. And then the seller could never get, it was through a foundation, and they couldn't figure out how to legally sell the land they were trying to sell. So I finally gave up on them. And I bought this in the meantime. So, and then when I wound up with land in the middle of town, and there was no power here.
Right.
There was no water, there was nothing here. So I wound up with an apartment instead, and I used this as an office.
Wow. How long was it in office?
3 years. So I
Look at
owned
that.
this 4 years.
Open so effortlessly.
Yeah.
It's like a plane door almost. Well, not exactly, but you know the point I'm making. It's awesome.
So my
Look at
thought-
that.
So I have photos. Yeah, I haven't leveled this. Obviously, it's leaning.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah.
plan
But the
for it to
floor
sit
feels
here.
solid though.
I just pulled it over here so people would see it.
Oh, I saw it on the way down.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
then I have those are in color on my computer,
Mm-hmm.
but my printer's black and white. Oh,
We got this over here, what we were talking about with the frame.
yeah. So I've had replaced new flooring, mineral wool insulation, every place I could fit it in.
Wow,
And,
mineral wool insulation.
it's rock wool.
Rock wool. I don't know anything about that. I know nothing of that.
What's your field?
My field is hospitality.
Okay.
Like, well, let me just be transparent with you. I'm in the cannabis business.
Okay.
Yeah. People love my cannabis.
Okay.
Hold on. We were just on the phone for the last like hour or so. We're gonna talk again. You know, she'll make sure of that. I love that. And tell me about this. What is this here?
That's the paneling I've been putting in.
Well, it looks a little different than what I've seen in Home Depot. This paneling. Is it the same?
It's some Lowe's.
So Lowe's and Home Depot, they make different paneling?
Couldn't tell you. All I know was it's
That's
real
really cool.
plywood, and I kind of liked it.
You did good with it. It looks great. And not honestly, it's 87 degrees, 86 degrees outside.
Yeah, this
And
isn't bad for metal.
This feels great. I mean, this is like we're talking about 76, 77.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So
All right.
This is where water leaked in, but I've jumped on the floor. I'm sure the floor is not damaged under it.
I'll offer my hand if you need it. All right. Not that you needed it. You're very agile and spry.
I'm 74, but
74, that's my dad's age. My dad is 74. So, wait, my dad is 73. 73.
And
So
you're
you're 51.
okay. Yeah. So your parents had children at a normal age.
Yeah, at a normal age,
My
right?
father was born in 1910. My mom in 1912. My father
1910, 1912. What was he? How old was he?
was old, 40s.
40s.
So a generation longer.
Well, I did that with my wife now. My wife that I have now, I started when I was 37. My son, he's 14 now. Daughter, when I was 40. You know, and she just turned 12, gonna be 13. He's gonna be 15 in like 5 months. So I'm a late bloomer. I don't recommend it though.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
do
I've
it
been
when
trying
you're
to get
young.
pregnant again. It hasn't worked.
Hasn't
I have
happened,
one
right?
son. He's
Yeah.
33.
Okay,
He's
one son.
37.
37.
Yeah.
Okay. So you started late as well.
Yeah.
So you was following in your dad's footsteps.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
he was ready to get married in the late 30s, and he got drafted instead.
Wow.
Before World War II, well, fighting was going on in Europe. But
Right,
before
right.
the U.S. was involved, we had a peacetime draft. They're about to get married, and as he always said, my mother ran from him for 8 years before she realized why people kept putting them together. And decided-
Okay.
So then he got drafted, and then he was to be discharged December 8th, 1941. What happened on December 7th? Pearl Harbor's bombed.
Pearl Harbor.
So he's back in the military. So
Wow.
it turned into 6 years in the military.
Jeez.
Yeah. So
Well, I'm thankful for his service. You know, my grandfather served in the Korean War.
my
Yeah.
grandparents were born in the 1880s.
1880s.
different.
Different.
vintage.
Yeah, different. Yeah, different vintage. Ah,
Want to see the house? You'll get a
yeah, I
kick
can
out
see
of
the
that.
house. Yeah. What does something like this go for?
The sign
And
says
just more.
25. What I really need is 15.
15
Exactly.
G's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's ready for somebody to do what they want. With
And you
the
could do
interior.
anything. This thing is like an
Yeah.
open. It's an open plan right here.
Yeah.
You saving someone.
And it's an Airstream.
Seriously, you're saving somebody $6,000 just to have it in this condition here.
Exactly.
Just for gutting it properly.
Yeah. Well, and then that fabric that you see that it says Intello, that's from Germany. That's a vapor barrier.
Right.
It lets moisture escape when it should and traps it when you want to keep it in. They call it a smart vapor barrier. Do
Smart
not ask
vapor
me to
vial.
explain the technology of how it works, but it,
No, I get it though. I get it. I
it
get
does
it.
work.
So, you want to drive up the hill?
I will just walk up
All right, I'll drive up and I'll catch
Yeah.
you up there.
because I think I'll get there as quickly as you.
Yeah, I have a feeling you're right. You and my dad would get along. He's just as spry as you. He's moving. He moves so well. That's a nice guy. $15K, and that Airstream is yours. Look, he's actually jogging. This man is literally jogging. I'm so impressed. $15K. And how long have you been here?
3 years.
3 years, okay.
2 years building. It
2
took a
years of
while.
building.
It took a year and a half really before I could start building. So maybe it's 4.5 years.
And did you have, like, go through different contractors, or were you the main guy? Like,
Yeah.
it was
Well,
just you and, like, I'm
I
sure
don't do all
laborers,
this heavy-
workers.
I don't do all this heavy lifting.
Okay, good.
So, but I do the plumbing, the electrical, the design, the choice of the materials. I'm actually pretty famous for this.
Oh, okay, good to know. I met a star. I met somebody with some fame. I love that.
So this building, you open the door. So you see it triple glazed, weighs a ton.
There we go. Oh, it goes in, pushes in. Oh my goodness. Wow.
And I'm still under construction.
Wow. These are like the floors you find in like a bar.
Yeah. I have stuff that is going to make it shinier, but I just haven't gotten around to that yet. There's so many things to do.
Right, right.
So tap on the wall.
Whoa, solid.
It's
Feels
masonry.
like a fortress.
It's masonry. But it's
Is this one of
masonry.
those like 3D places that they? Oh, okay.
No.
Have you seen that?
But it
You
is
seen that
precast.
technology? Precast.
Here's a piece of the wall.
Look at this.
Now,
And they put the rebar in it.
well, I've done just about everything here is different.
Oh wow.
So that masonry was developed in Sweden in 1920.
Take the next left onto New York 23 East, then turn right onto New York 22 South.
Turn this off.
Here's a piece of the building.
Oh my goodness, it's like a very
It's all
paperweight.
It floats, and you cut it like wood, but it's masonry.
How many bits are you going through to? I mean, not bits. How many blades are you going through to cut this?
I have what's called a masonry cutting bandsaw that I bought in 1990.
So there's water involved to cut
No,
this.
dry.
No.
You cut it
Oh,
dry.
you cut it like
It's all
wood. You
air.
said.
It's as soft as wood.
I can't
I have the
believe
same blade
this.
on the bandsaw from the day.
This
I
is
bought the bandsaw.
amazing. I mean, it's like light like paper.
Yeah. It's called autoclaved aerated concrete.
Autoclave aerated concrete.
So the trick is they have big hoppers. They pour slurry, ground up sand, water, a little bit of cement, some lime, and the secret ingredient is a trace of aluminum. Just like the Airstream, you can grind up the Airstream and put it in there.
Nice, nice.
It acts
you
as a
was-
catalyst.
While you were
and
saying
it
this,
rises.
really?
But these air bubbles are not connected. So it's airtight despite being all air.
It's alive.
So it became common. Well, they went into production by 1929.
This is a Swedish company.
Yep. By the
Right.
30s, this was common throughout Europe. It still is. They're constantly improving it. And 60% of Germany, new construction is automated concrete, or AAC for short.
AAC. Never heard of
50%
it.
of 50% of England. Those are the only countries where I know the numbers. It's the norm in the Middle East. Japan uses it extensively because it holds up well in earthquakes. You have a
Okay.
taller building and it starts shaking, but it only weighs 1/5 as much. It can flex a lot more. And if it does fall, it does less damage because there's so little weight to it. But it's fine for 5 to 6 story buildings.
Oh,
California
Huh.
bans it because California, no one has paid to test it in California.
that's because they have Gavin Newsom.
No, he'd be on the right side.
Oh, he'd be on the right side? Okay,
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
okay. So,
Want a piece? You could show it to all your friends and send them here.
I think I'll do that. Tell me your name, Mr. Famous Man.
If you do a general search, Dan Levy,
Dan Levy.
L-E-V-Y. If you do
I
a
have an
general,
attorney named Levy.
it's, if you're Jewish, it's like being Smith.
Mm,
You could, oh, you're gonna copy it.
perfect. I can, yeah, take
You can
that.
keep
I
it if
got
you
it.
want.
I will keep it. Thank you. I will keep
Frame
it.
it, okay?
I don't know if I'm framing it yet. Let's see how we get the,
If you do a general search,
right.
AAC, Passive House,
Mm.
it'll bring up, that's not the name of the website, that's just general search. It'll bring up articles from the US and from Germany, because this is so common in Germany, they're interested in seeing, what are we doing in the US? How come we're 95 years behind them?
Mm.
And I think there are companies in Europe that are looking at moving into the US market.
Are
India,
they publicly traded company?
I don't know that answer. The one US plant is not.
Mm.
But I don't think I would recommend investing in it here. It's very hard to change the trades. I built the first building like this. I tried it out in 1998. Everybody that saw it loved it. Did anybody copy it or decide that they were going to build this way?
No. Wow.
It's really hard
Can't
to change
teach
people's
can't teach a
attitudes.
dog new tricks, I
You got
see.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, they just wanna, I was watching some new construction being built, and it just was all of these 2x4s and this, the wood, what are those, sawdust wood,
Yeah,
4x,
particle board.
particle board, it was particle board and 2x4s everywhere.
Yeah.
I was like, it hasn't
really-
changed.
Hasn't changed since the 1800s.
Yes.
It burns, it rots, it gets eaten by termites, and we
Right.
keep doing it.
So have you gone on Rogan yet? We're gonna get you on Rogan, I'm gonna send this to Rogan.
To who?
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan is a podcaster.
Oh,
He's like one of the biggest in the United States or maybe the world.
wait, is he the Republican one though?
He's not Republican. No, he's moderate if that. I don't think he's anything right now. He
Oh.
used to be a liberal, but he said that liberals did such a horrible job. He changed his mind. He wants out of the whole liberal aspects of it.
I'm very liberal. Something tells me that he's on a different side, but I'll see what you come up with.
Well, he used to be a liberal, so that's a good
So-
thing, I guess.
So if you, I should turn this around because the insulation is on the outside.
Tell me what you mean. Maybe you could show me.
Well, the outside of the building
Right.
is this insulation. That's also mineral. Nothing eats
Wait,
mineral.
wait. The outside is the soft part, and the inside is the hard part.
Yep,
That's, I never would have
Because-
thought that.
because that way there's thermal mass to this building. Do you eat your sweater or do you wear it?
I wear it.
Yeah, put it on the outside, keep the building, keep everything warm.
That makes all the sense in the world. That's like what they say, keep it simple, stupid, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, when you just have fluffy stuff on the outside of your building, how do you put siding on it? You don't have anything to nail into. Well, when I built the last one, which is in Woodstock, New York, I had to put enough wood on the outside of the building that was enough wood to build a house,
Right.
just to hold the siding. And I knew, that was in 2014, 2015, something like that. I knew if I was in Europe, I could put stucco directly on it.
Right, like the way they do in South America.
That's what I did here.
Oh.
This is the first example in the US or Canada of stucco applied directly to mineral wool.
Nice.
So that's,
So you're a trendsetter.
yeah,
Good for you.
which doesn't pay the bills, but
Trendsetting
interesting.
doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah.
That's why you're willing to drop 10 grand off of the,
exactly.
because you need the
I need
money.
to put the money into this.
Wow. Wow, this looks awfully interesting. This device here with the wheel.
Shaving horse, separate.
Oh, those are separate things.
The wheel is a grain grinder.
Okay.
And shaving horse, if you are a farmer, a cooper, or a shingle maker, you need one. You clamp your wood here,
Right.
step on the pedal, and you have 2 hands free to use a draw knife.
Okay. Oh. Interesting.
So the
I love that.
casks and buckets around.
Right, you have a nice theme going on.
That's how I made them.
You have a really. What do you mean? That's how you made what? What you mean? These buckets here? You made these buckets, these pails?
Yeah,
I'm impressed.
I drank all the liquor though.
Yeah.
You got here too late.
Yeah. Good. Too bad I don't really drink alcohol. I'm a cannabis guy. This is cool. And what's going on here? This is an indoor?
Screen porch.
So it's just a screen, so you'll get cold in the winter and hot in the summer. Okay.
I just got home from looking at a project.
Nice. Look at that door. This door is like Fort Knox, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
Notice you can walk right up to the door and you'll be warm or cold depending on the season.
Yeah, what a difference from here and in there. It's like 30 degrees, 25 degree difference there.
Now this is a heat pump and that's the smallest you can get.
I love it.
And that's doing the entire first floor.
How many BTUs does it?
6,000
6,000 BTUs, and it's taking care of this whole entire space?
is the whole first
That is such a great selling point to this
Yeah.
this thing you're doing here with the stucco and this corrugated stuff here. Like 6,000 BTUs got this whole place feeling this great.
Most companies don't even make one that small.
Right.
Okay, this is number 4 rebar. This is what people are used to using.
Right.
This or bigger.
Yeah, that's what I've seen most
Feel
of my
the weight.
life. Let me see. It feels substantially
Now
heavy.
feel this one.
It doesn't feel. It feels like a piece of wood.
This one's stronger
This is stronger.
and it's thinner.
And this is how do you get what?
It's made out of basalt rock.
It's made out of rock,
Yep.
not steel,
steel.
which steel is made out of rock.
What is steel made out of?
I thought they
Yeah,
take,
iron ore.
yeah. They take the iron ore, they melt
Yeah,
it down,
yeah.
and they make the rebar.
Yeah.
So
Rust.
this is before you melt it down. You got this one here, your other hand.
Well, different material, different kind of stone.
Different stone. Okay.
So basalt has 2.5 times the tensile strength of steel rebar. If,
Salt.
if they were the same side.
So all those huge salt mines, they can do this. Oh, okay.
Basalt. B-A-S-A-L-T.
Basalt.
It's one of the most common ingredients in the earth. And it's what this insulation is made out of also.
Nice.
So when you see concrete breaking apart, spalling,
Right.
because it rusts. It breaks. When steel rusts, it expands. You put steel into concrete to reinforce it.
Right.
If the steel rusts, the concrete fails. This doesn't.
Oh. I'm getting a huge lesson here today. I'm super impressed. What do we have here on the floor? Oh, outlets.
Yeah.
So just in case you want to put a lamp here or something here
Yeah.
without any wires going across the
Probably
floor.
won't do, so the wire is there. I didn't put any.
See, this is something my mother would love because she always had a chair with the lamp hanging over the chair, and she would read there and do things there, but she was always forced to be near an outlet.
Yeah.
Where this is just so brilliant.
So what else is different here? Fresh air. The building is a thermos bottle. It's airtight.
Mm-hmm.
So hold your breath. You can't breathe in here.
Go on.
So there's fresh air coming in from outside.
Fresh air coming from outside, right. Like a submarine.
Yeah, well, no water.
No water.
How do you do it in a submarine? I don't know.
I don't know. That just made me think submarine when you have to still pump in fresh air.
That's stale air coming out of the kitchen, so that has a grease filter in it.
Nice.
So
So you have to change the filter like twice a year, maybe, right?
for this room, you have another one
Nice
fresh air
office.
coming in.
Wow, love that table. Don't tell me you built that table.
Yeah, I did. I didn't build
It's
this one.
beautiful. You didn't
My
build this one.
grandparents bought this one
Yeah,
in
this one's way before you were
1927.
born.
1927. And it opens. This was their dining table for a New York apartment. You could put against the wall when you didn't have a crowd.
Oh, wow. That was classy.
Here's another one. Air is being pulled out of this room. And
Wait. This is air being sucked out of this
out
one
because of the bathroom.
because it's the bathroom, and then there's air being pushed down into
The
the
clean rooms have fresh air.
fresh air.
The dirty rooms, bathrooms and kitchen, that's
Oh,
my
wow.
utility room. There's no
Oh,
basement.
this is like the movie Saw happening right now.
So the box making the noise up
Whoa.
there, that's the fresh air system.
This box, see, I've seen boxes that look like this before.
So
I used to build bars years ago. 15 years ago, I was in the bar business for 20 years, and I built a few bars, and we would order these kind of equipments for the bar, for the AC units and stuff like that. So that looks familiar to me. It looks smaller than what I'm used to. I remember being a lot larger.
well, in this case, it's just for fresh air. That's all.
This is only for fresh air. I love it. Wow, my goodness. This is like from the future and the past. This water heater is no joke.
Water heaters from the past because it's just electric.
I love it. No propane, no gas.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, right. All electric.
Now see that box, all those wires?
All these wires here.
My lighting system. It's all
Nice.
on computer cables.
That's amazing.
You don't need 120 volts to run light.
You don't need 120 volts to run a light, especially if it's this LED, right? So you've figured out a way to use these like, I love it.
So here's what that does.
And you're self-taught, I'm assuming, by the electrical. Nobody, you didn't go to a class for that, did you?
Well, yes and no. I have a doctorate. I can teach construction and cabinet making.
I love that.
So, put a light behind you. You touch it once, I've got a dim position.
Right,
So if you run into the bathroom in the middle of the night, you don't want to have a whole bunch of glare.
right.
You touch it again, brighter.
Nice.
Bottom is turned 2 off. If you want to change the dimming, you can just hold the switch and it'll change it.
I love it.
It's kind of fun.
And it's huge. This is like a big bathroom here. This is huge.
You want to see the rest? You're
I
welcome.
would love to see the rest. If you're inviting me,
Yeah.
thank you.
It's a mess when I had to start running off doing work elsewhere today. I was in the middle of putting in new shelves in a closet.
Tell me about this painting.
That's my son did that in college.
Okay.
He's now an art curator at Indiana University.
An art curator. That sounds nice. Whoa. Oh, this is the staircase you run up when the zombies are coming.
Yeah.
Because they can't jump.
So what I did here, look in the bedroom, look at the height of the ceiling.
This
You can walk in anywhere now.
this one here? Whoa, look at that.
Okay, so it's a cathedral ceiling.
Cathedral is the word.
Now look how tall the ceiling would be if you went beyond this wall. It would be way too high.
Right.
So out here, I dropped the ceiling to 8'3", and it created a mini attic that's indoors. That's
Right.
conditioned space.
Right.
That allowed, instead of the heating system on the wall like you saw downstairs,
I love this.
it sits up there on the floor, and every room has its own supply and return.
Nice. And what's the pictures here? What do I see in here?
My parents.
Ooh.
So that's 1941.
What were the names?
Anne and Irwin.
Anne and Irwin. It kind of like rhymes a little bit, even though it doesn't. It does.
That's my mother's father.
Wow.
At Seneca Falls, New York, 1923.
He looks a little bit like a gangster. Is there any gangster in the background?
I don't think so. That's my son as a kid.
Right.
And there's his son.
Nice. So the art curator has a son, a family. Life is great.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And I'm saying this is another restroom, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, but I haven't finished building it.
Don't worry about it. I like the rugs.
Yeah, this is an old one.
These area rugs are really nice.
Yeah.
They're like good. It's not like the IKEA rugs that are trying to copy those rugs. I like this. We call this wet bar? No? What is this?
The laundry room.
Okay.
This is the washer and the dryer in one.
Yeah, I've had this before. Never had good success because I used to live in a high rise, and whenever they would shut down the water to fix somebody's whatever it was, the water would back up into my machine.
Wait, that wasn't the fault of the machine. That was the fault of the plumbing in the building.
That's what I meant, but it just turned me off that I went through 3 of them. Because I lived there for like 20 years, and I would come to my sink, and there'd be like grease in the sink. I'm like, what the hell is this greasy stuff? And I just didn't know what it was until I got one of these, and it kept destroying my machine.
Wow.
But you're right, it wasn't the fault of the machine. It's funny how we take things out on.
Yeah.
We're not really solving the problem. I was mad at the device, but I did go through 3 of them.
Damn. What
Yeah.
brand? Do you remember?
I think they were all LGs. Oh, look, this is LG as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've definitely improved it.
Yeah.
But
But what I found out was there's a cutoff switch that I did install to the part because it was feeding out to the side of the the sink. So it was draining through that sink area, and I did get a cutoff valve. But the problem was my wife and I would always forget to turn that damn valve off every time. And the building didn't give enough notice.
Yeah.
They're supposed to give notice when they're going to turn off the water or whenever there's going to be a backup like that. But I just wasn't responsible enough, I guess. I don't know.
No, something was wrong with that installation because water should never be able to back up into the machine itself.
Yeah, water used to back up into 3 machines.
Because like here, this thing,
Right.
it's never a positive connection. If there was water backing up there, it would be flowing onto the floor and not into the machine.
Well, I didn't have it set up like that. I had it set up like directly
Yeah.
where it was
On
like
the
locked
discharge
in.
pipe.
Yeah, right at the part underneath the sink where it has that trap.
Yeah.
It was right above the trap.
Doesn't make sense. There should be an air brake.
No,
Yeah,
I didn't do it
yeah.
right. I didn't do it right. Here's a guest room I see, right?
Yeah, so what I've just done, I'm hoping
Nice.
that it's online today
Wow.
to rent these on Airbnb so people can learn about how this building is built,
Right.
experience it. Because I know from previous experience, when people stay in a building built like this, their allergies disappear. They sleep better.
Say that one more time. People need to hear that.
Your allergies tend to disappear because that fresh air coming in is also filtered. It takes out pollen, so it's really cleaner air inside than you can get outside.
Nice. That's pretty cool. Let me see. They just seem to be. Are they the same size?
They're close.
I love it. It is so good. Oh, I love these blinds.
Yep, those.
Oops.
That's okay. Just go ahead.
I don't want to be that bull in the china. Ooh. There we go.
They go from the top one.
Yeah, and it's this string that guides them, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of RVs now have these shades in the RVs. Like that's like the new thing
Yeah.
inside of RVs. I love it. Oh
These are
wow!
just like the doors.
Look at that.
Triple glazed.
I'm a triple glazed. I love that.
And these are just tilt and turn. Here, watch this.
Show me, please. Oh, let me
In
sit down for
ventilation
that.
position.
Wow.
But you don't really want it open here because it's hot and full of pollen outside.
Hot full of pollen, and then what about mosquitoes? All these bugs running around.
Well, I have screens, but I would never open my windows. If I have guests that insist on opening the windows, then I'll have to put the screens in.
Okay, because this does have screen ability. You can put the
You
screens
put
in,
screen yeah.
but you don't
But-
open them. You're like, no way.
I want clean air inside.
Right.
People
Right.
don't understand that there's a ventilation system,
Right.
because houses generally don't have that.
I love that.
So like in this one, there's fresh. That's where the fresh air is coming in.
Right. And what is that up there in the very corner?
Well, the two bigger ones are the air conditioning and heating,
Oh, okay.
and it's really quiet. That is running, and the other one's a smoke detector.
Right, like some sort of futuristic smoke detector. That looks like you got to get that one online. They don't. They have that in Lowe's.
I think that's they look like now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
they all have to be, by code, they all have to be tied together. So if one goes off in the building, they all go off.
Right. Okay. 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 And the big fire department is over here. Quick.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
Which this
good.
building is essentially fireproof, except not the interior. You can always set interior furnishings on fire. But
Wow.
the structure itself, that has a higher fire rate. The walls have a higher fire rating than concrete.
What?
Concrete doesn't burn, but it gets damaged if it's heated up in a fire.
Yeah, like crumbles.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen concrete
doesn't.
crumble. There's no crumbling here.
Because-
And then the
yeah,
soft part is on the outside, so it's not going to get touched at all.
correct. And that stucco is fire resistant. It's the wall has a 4-hour rating. The stucco has a 2-hour fire rating.
Nice.
My stucco came from Istanbul, Turkey. It's not American. It's not the usual stuff.
So
here.
Istanbul, Turkey, you ship that
The
stucco
guy that I get
here.
it from stockpiles it on both coasts.
Okay. So you got the hookup. You got the hookup to the plug. He's the plug, and
Yeah.
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 I love that. Yeah, because it's not it's not what you know, it's who you know. Because you can know all this stuff, but if you can't get it, then you're stuck.
Yeah.
So it's time for you to go on Rogan, so you can launch this huge endeavor. Because let me tell you, new construction is happening every day.
Yeah.
So what would the cost be per versus this particle board and this this.
This building,
Yeah.
with the right crew, same price as a traditional wood frame building.
Okay,
Because wood prices have skyrocketed.
that's true.
This didn't. Now, there's still plenty of wood on the interior, though.
Right.
So,
Like the wood is what in between the walls, separating the rooms.
the interior walls are traditional.
Right.
That's-
Would you use the same thing on the outside, on the inside, if you could?
You can, but I think to build a house in the U.S. where I'm in an area without flood risks or fire risk, I think it would add to the cost. If I was building someplace where there was a flood risk or where there were wildfires, then sure, I'd build the interior walls, especially if it was one story.
Right.
But once I need to go to that same system for the floors, then you need a massive crane. So that becomes more expensive.
Right.
But if you're building a hotel, I'd build it with this, and I'd build it with the same material for the floors. They make it in panels. So,
Well, learning from what you've told me, it makes sense why California doesn't have this. Because they're burning down California. Every time you look up, they're like 60-mile-per-hour wind just took out these houses, but not the one concrete house is still there.
yeah,
So the last thing they want is for this to be everywhere.
yeah. The catch with California is, in order to get their approval, somebody's got to pay for the testing for the earthquake resistance. Or
So
that hap-
you need like serious backer to do that. What are you talking? We're talking millions, right?
I don't know what it cost.
Yeah, like to put this in a room that shakes to
Yeah,
simulate an earthquake.
I think it's Berkeley University has one of those tables where you can put a building on. You build a building inside on this platform, and they shake it, and they measure when it collapses.
That would be amazing. I would love to just see that. Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll require massive funding. Massive funding to do that.
So what I know though is it's used in Indonesia, it's used in Japan, because
Right.
it holds up very well in earthquakes.
Right.
But you got to prove it in California.
In California. And just people for the last 100 years have dropped the ball.
Yeah.
And you're innovating this whole entire thing.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a new product. This has been around for plenty of fires and earthquakes.
Right.
So,
This is like those stories you always hear about, like, somebody creates something, invents something. You think, why don't we all know about this? And it's like,
yeah.
just like, do you feel any pushback from the building community to stifle this kind of building? Are there like...
No, because there isn't enough of it going on for them to care. Because I learned about this in the 1990s, and I tried it out in Baltimore, Maryland, where I lived at the time. It was easy. It worked better than I expected, and I showed it to a lot of people. They weren't interested. Everybody liked it, but nobody did it.
No one pulled out the checkbook.
Yeah.
Right.
I think we're finally there. I think people, and that's why I'm doing Airbnb here, is so people come experience it, and I think anyone that's lived in another country, chances are, feels right at home in this.
Right.
So,
Let me ask you this. The air conditioning that I feel in this room is coming from where?
the attic space.
But where's the machine at? Is it the machine that I saw downstairs on the wall is different?
There's
Okay.
that one is just downstairs,
Okay.
but there's one just as small, but it sits on the floor above us, right between the rooms. So it does have a duct connecting it, but it's only a few feet of duct.
Okay. Right. So it's not going too far of a distance. So everything should feel the same in both rooms.
Yeah,
And the hallway. It's
all,
Right,
well,
right,
there's no
right.
ducts in the hallway, but when you're this well insulated, you don't even need heating and cooling in every room. It all comes to the same temperature.
And, people want to hear that.
Yeah.
They want to know that.
So
But you were saying that you think this is the time right now. You see that it can.
I think climate change is making it, when you're losing so many houses to fires and floods,
Right.
and this can get wet and dry back out and not support mold.
What?
So now,
That's
a
amazing.
flood like they just had in Texas could probably carry a building away.
Oh, you're
Thousand-
talking about Guadalupe River
Yes,
in Texas.
yeah, where over
That's-
100 people have just died.
Yeah. And you know that it happened in 1987. It happened. This is the month of July, correct?
Mhm.
So it happened when, the 5th of July, something like that.
Yeah,
There was one that happened on like the 17th of July, 1987. Same river, killed just as 20 children. The camp was washed away. All that.
yeah,
1987. So this is nothing new.
yeah.
This is nothing new, But how do you prepare for that? Like, how do you know? Like, do you not have a camp there for 40 years? Like, what do you do? Oh, wait, but it's
Yeah,
beyond the
well,
camp.
Well, they fired so many of the people that could have been the ones to give the alert.
See, I don't know about
Trump
this.
shutting down the whole country is not going to anybody any good.
Right.
Few people are getting rich, like him.
Yeah, people are getting
He's
rich.
in business to stay out. He's the president in order to stay out of jail and to make himself and his relatives and a few cronies wealthy and hurt 99.9% of the population. And time things so it doesn't happen until the next president, who's sure to be a Democrat. When the next Democrat's in power, that's when you're going to see all the things that he's taken away, and they're going to blame it on the Republicans, just like he blames everything on Biden.
Right.
Biden, the economy, the number of people coming in, immigrants.
The immigrants, the
Everything was
illegals.
fine under Biden.
Right.
This depends on whose news you're getting. The real news
It's
or
true.
Fox News that's an entertainment station.
Right.
You're going to send me somewhere and
Fox-
get me in a lot of trouble, aren't you?
No. A lot of people in this country, so many people are believing everything that you just said that didn't believe that 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
The world is going like, oh, wait a minute, we got played. We believed. You know what it is? It's just that I think America was just so ready for machismo. All these men on TV are so weak. All these men on the internet are so weak. And this guy was so brass and so like, I don't care what anybody thinks, that men and women were secretly attracted to that shit. Because let me tell you, I live in Brooklyn, and no one voted for that. All the people that they say they were going to vote for Kamala, you look at the numbers, she didn't win one town. I'm like, you people lied. You
Wait,
lied.
they didn't vote for her?
They did not vote for her. Like if you look at the different, they were breaking it down per town and she barely won. She didn't win any cities. So all the people that said they were going to vote for her, they lied. They went right in that poll and they were like, let me vote for. And they just, I think it was like an impulse. They lied. Like a lot of people that I know, they were like, it's such a bad day. Like when she lost, they were so upset. And I was just like, yeah, but did you really vote for her? And they were like, of course I did. I'm like, you sure? Because she didn't win Red Hook. That's where I'm from, Red Hook, Brooklyn. I said, she didn't win Red Hook. She didn't win Park Slope. And these are all liberals, straight, staunch liberals, donate, 40% of their money to charity every year. It's like,
And I'm not going to question whether the voting tallies were manipulated.
oh, you see, there you go. That could be true. That could be true too. Because it's like, you can't trust, people are emotional people. It's true what you're saying because, like, she couldn't win a town. I think she won one town in, like, upstate New York. Like, no, maybe 4 towns. I think she won 4.
Yeah, I don't remember
She won, like, 4 towns in upstate New York. But she couldn't win. It's just sad. It's just crazy. But you're right, though. Could have been some little scandalous things going on at those places, those workers that are unpaid workers. You hit those people off with a little envelope, things probably could get moving. Anyway, we've got him. He's gonna be gone soon, and hopefully we're smart enough to make enough. Like he brought back prisons. He brought back private prisons, and that company is called GEO. And when Biden took away the private prisons, he took away the private prisons. They were worth $3. Now they're worth $28. I got in at $7 because I just saw the changing of that private prisons and the federal monies that were given to them, and then the illegals that were coming in, and then they're shutting down all these programs. All the programs like what they doing? Like they're doing VA, they're doing Section 8, they're doing so many Medicaid. They're getting rid of so many programs. I'm like, this is going to force people to do some sort of crime. Something's going to happen. People are going to say, people, what was that when the guy said, go outside your window and say, I'm not going to take it anymore. Like people are going to respond to some degree like that. So that's why, you could make a lot of money if you go for these. Now, I'm not an advocate for like supporting prisons.
But you are. If you
But I am. Yeah, but I am because I see it. Like I see what's it called? I want in. I want in.
Not me.
I want in. But that's good. You have values. You have morals. I have morals and values too, but I have seen stocks that I was feeling strong about not work because of an emotional aspect. So now I'm not going into it emotionally. I'm going into it with just like, this is what's happening. This is what the future is looking like. Like I invested so much of money at one time on water because in the next 20 years, it's probably going to be water wars. And they have all these companies that are preparing right now for all these water reserves that they have them. They're all publicly traded companies. Wait a minute, you telling me water that's free is being traded by a company and the stock is 1 cent, 3 cents, 18 cents, minus 3 cents. It's all these different companies. So I just said, let me put 20 grand all these like separate different companies because there's gonna be a water war at one point, So am I a piece of S for that? I don't know. Maybe my mom might say, that's disgusting. My mom, she's really like tough. She would say, that's gross. You can't invest in prisons. Only black people gonna go to prison, brown people. That's what she would say. That's what she would say. My mom would say that, yeah. She would say, only black and brown people gonna go. You're gonna invest in that? I'll be like, yeah, I'm sorry.
That's like I knew somebody. Well, I knew his brother. I was friends with a brother who was very honest, and his brother was investing in cigarettes to ship to other countries when he could get them cheap here and ship them to other countries. It's like he didn't care how many people he was harming because he was making money. It's like
Right.
no.
Yeah.
I,
He was like, they're adults. They're adults. They're consenting adults. I'm not doing anything wrong. Yeah. And what was he just like import exporting kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
Right. So was it any company who had it cheaper? He'll just move it. He was one of those guys, like a total logistics
I
guy.
don't know the details.
But you knew that he was
He was
dabbling in
He was
cancer.
making money by sending. You know, when sales dropped here, he was buying stuff up and sending to other countries where he could get a premium.
Right.
And I'm thinking, that's evil.
That is evil. Like me investing in prisons is a little evil.
Yeah. Remember when I used to like you?
Don't be upset with me. I don't have a lot of money in the stock market. I have only pennies. But yeah, it's true. Like, see what happens when you get to know people? You find out I got a little evil in me. Sorry. So do you invest at all, or is it all evil?
Everything I have is going into doing this right now.
Okay, so you're
This
focused.
has been,
You're focused.
and I'm doing this out of the goodness of my heart because it isn't paying the bills, But
Right.
I still think I think I can show people how to build better houses.
I think you're right.
And I had a relative, he's died in old age long ago, but he said, back when I started building with this in the 1990s,
Right.
he said, a good idea too soon is a bad idea. And
That needs to be on a
unfortunately, he's right.
t-shirt. We need to put that on a t-shirt and get you some revenue coming in. That could be, we promote you in this house building and get you on a couple of podcasts. That could be your shirt. You'll make 20 grand the first 30 days off of that shirt. That's the way this new world that we live in, everyone is into what they're referring to as merch.
Yeah.
So if let's say we could get you on Rogan, first thing we need to do is you got to go on Rogan with the T-shirt, with your was a friend or uncle or cousin. What was that? And just then you have to trademark it, and you don't trademark it right away, but you just put that out there. There's a lot of money out there, and if you need like an income, 20, 30 grand real quick, merch. So.
Find me people that want to build a better house. Now this is also, it will be certified as a passive house.
I don't know what that means.
Passive house it makes more sense in German, it's Passivhaus, which just means passive building. And it's just, the concepts that I use, make a building airtight, provide fresh air, super insulated, have high quality windows and doors. So basically the house takes care of itself.
Right.
You can't just say you built a passive house. It has to be tested and proven, so it's real. So for example, everything I'm doing here is being tested and verified by a third party, and then I'll get a certificate that this is a certified passive house.
Certified passive house.
Yeah.
And another house would be called what?
A house. It's just it's too bad it's the word house. The Passive House Institute US tends to now call it passive building to eliminate the confusion of it being a house. Because it doesn't.
Passive building. I like passive
It's easier
building
to build a
better.
building like this as an apartment building. Because the more building you have, the bigger the building, you're going to have more interior space for your exterior walls. If you can minimize your exterior walls, you don't need as much insulation. Because when you have more people in a building, more apartments, more
Right.
refrigerators, more heat being given off, you don't have to go to the lengths of how much insulation it takes to make this stay warm or cool in the summer.
Right.
So it really lends itself to commercial buildings.
Like we're talking 5-story, 40 apartments.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
I
there
like-
are a bunch of apartment buildings that meet the Passive House standard. And I know particularly in Massachusetts, they've done a lot of public housing And they're at the point where there's no premium, and sometimes it's less expensive to build to the Passive House standard than to do a standard building. Because you're eliminating a lot of things. Your insulation is a one-time cost. Better windows and doors is a one-time cost.
Right.
You're eliminating so much of your operating expenses, and you're improving comfort and health outcomes in a better building. I'm not using any hazardous materials here for my indoors. You know,
No hazardous material. No carcinogens.
as far as I know. Don't eat the insulation, please, but
Right.
you know, some of the things I'm using, you want to use a dust mask when you're cutting them,
Yeah, you don't want stuff like that in your lungs, you know.
but there's nothing that should be outgassing anything after the construction's finished.
Right. It's like that material, carbon fiber. They say that's the worst thing you could ever breathe in. And like it's like don't, you know. So there's always risk. You always need some sort of mask, you know, and that's just plastic carbon fiber, you know. I love the place. I think we need to get you on some podcasts and get your Airbnb popping.
How about finding some people that would like my crew to build them a house?
Let's do that too.
But it has to be right around here. My crews are here.
And what is this town called?
This is Hillsdale,
Hillsdale. Wait, this is Hillsdale, New York.
New York.
Hillsdale, New York.
It's in New Jersey.
Right. I love this. This is amazing painting.
He did that in college. I was in Maryland Institute College of Art. And if you show it to anybody, I believe that her name is Michelle, but I don't remember, or my son doesn't remember who the model was for the guy.
She looked like she's had a long day.
Yeah.
And he looks like he's like,
Look at that chair.
he looks
a
a little, yeah?
Look at that chair over there.
Oh,
That's the chair.
I see that. Look at that.
And where did I put the lamp? Okay, memorize the lamp. It's in the living room. And the table is in the living room, except it has a cloth on it here, so you don't know.
I love that. Let me put
I'm
this.
so glad
Hold on for 1 second. Everything worked out though, so that's good. All right, here we go. Boom. You need somebody in Hillsdale, New York, who wants to build a house that's going to cut their costs for heating and cooling, their fear of fire and flood.
Now here's the other thing I need. An angel investor. I own the land along the road. I can
The
build
road that I drove down.
New York 23. There's room for 3 buildings on the road.
Ooh.
I need a new funding source to do that. And the best thing would be the angel investor that would like to show that we can be part of showing that we can build better buildings.
Okay.
I think that person is out there.
I think that person is out there as well. Look at this guy.
This is my relative, the Cossack, World War I Cossack. Not a relative, just joking.
Okay. I don't even know what a Cossack is.
They were warriors.
Okay. I come from a line of warriors and killers.
My uncle traded a pack of cigarettes for that painting in Germany during World War II.
Is that the lamp?
That's the lamp.
All right, I love
That's
it.
my grandmother's. That's the table that my son put a tablecloth on for that painting.
Nice. And is this one of those original pieces that everyone
The chair?
duplicates, this chair?
Yeah, it's stressless. Ecorn stressless. This one's
Ecorn.
from the 60s or so.
Oh, look at your lamp. This looks just like the one my mom had. Almost identical. That's so funny. I think I have it in my storage too. I'm gonna take a picture of it.
I like those. They're handy.
I like this here. Is this like
That's
some sort of
another one by my
train?
son. That's a lithograph.
A lithograph. And what is a lithograph?
When you're printing off of, in this case, printing off of a stone.
Printing off of a stone.
The oil and water don't mix kind of thing. And don't ask me to explain it.
I won't. Well, I got your card and your information. I'm
Do you
so
have a card?
happy. No, I don't have a card, but I can
Okay.
give you my number, yeah.
You don't have to do that. I'm gonna wonder, who is this guy?
Who the heck is this guy? And then the TV crew's gonna show up outside.
Yeah. As long as it's not a Republican TV crew, I'm afraid you're gonna get me on the wrong side.
No. But you know, I'm the guy who would say, so what, he's Republican. That has nothing to do with your building these beautiful places. Come on. What if a guy like Trump, he can still get you to, you still build him a house?
No, because he won't pay you. How does Trump operate? He always argues, it wasn't done the way I wanted.
I don't know what I just did wrong. Okay, there we go.
Yes, you're a lefty.
I'm a lefty. That means like I'm amazing, I'm sure. My dad is a lefty. My brother, God bless the dead, he was a lefty. My brother Louis. What is my number?
Did you change your name to Elvis?
I told you it was Elvis when I met.
Oh,
What do you remember?
I didn't. I must not have heard you accurately.
That's okay.
That's a good name.
Thanks. I gave it to myself. I didn't like the one my mom gave me.
Are
That's
you
my-
willing to tell me your last name as well?
Yeah.
What does it say?
Rosenberg.
Rosenberg. You don't look
Elvis
Jewish.
Rosenberg. I'm a black Jew. They exist. It's a real thing.
Are you really?
Really. I mean, I'm not like, you know, I'm not eating honey on certain days, and I don't practice what's the word? Shabbat. Shabbos.
Shabbos.
I don't practice Shabbos. I don't, you know, I haven't conformed to anything, but, you know, this is me from Brooklyn.
I guess you figured out with the name Levy. Well, I told you, like your name's
Yeah,
Levy.
I told you. Yeah, I knew because you, my attorney I have is Levy, you know. He's such a great attorney. I remember he walked into court one day and said, Your Honor, this is outrageous. What's going on here? I said, oh my God, you're going to get us in trouble. You're yelling at the judge. And the judge said, you're right. I'm sorry. And the judge put through a motion. Case
How
was
much of
dismissed.
this story can I believe? You're really a black Jew?
Yes, it's hard to believe, isn't it? It is, but
I
it's
knew
a truth.
one other.
Yeah, do you ever watch YouTube?
If I need to.
Yeah, there's a guy named, let me show you, his name is Nassim Black. Type up Nassim Black. He's a black Jew on, he does music.
I am.
Yeah,
And his last name is Black?
right. Check him out, he's good. His music is amazing. He hasn't done any music in like 9 months, ever since what's going on over there at the Gaza Strip and Israel and all that. So he's kind of like he's been very political lately, but his music is amazing. His music is amazing.
Well,
And there's a
no,
ton of black Jews over there. And he lives in Israel. Yeah, there's a ton of them. He wears the curls and everything.
Oh, it's my old friend Spam.
I'm gonna keep this because I'm gonna show people this.
Okay.
I'm gonna let people know about this.
Yeah.
This is pretty amazing. Something this strong, so light.
Do you want a piece that's the actual size of, let me show you this. This is the end of one of those blocks.
What do you mean by the end?
Well, it came off a block that size. And
Okay.
that's a slice off the block, because that way you can say that's how thick the wall is. You know,
What do you mean
somebody's
how
seen-
thick the wall is? Just
That's the thickness of my wall.
wait. What?
This way.
What is that? 7, 8 inches?
Inches. Yeah.
What? Nobody's building a 7, 8 inch wall. No one.
And then there's 6 inches of insulation. 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 6 inches of insulation
Wow.
And there's a half-inch of stucco.
Yeah, I think I'll take that piece.
Yeah.
That'll be better to describe.
Because I'm just thinking that looks like it's the size of a brick, and people are gonna think it's like a brick.
Yeah, I think so too. This way, right here, and then with these ridges in it, it
That was
shows.
just the end of the mold.
Right. That's pretty amazing.
Did you take a picture of that sample of that?
I did. Well, thank you for sharing your beautiful home with me.
Sure.
I'm happy to have met you, and
Likewise.
knowing that you're famous, didn't make it better, but it's still great.
I'm famous for this idea.
I'm teasing you. I kid. Thank you, my friend.
Elvis, pleasure.
Let me give you a hug. Come on. Thank you, man.
Okay.
74,
Travels.
running up the hill like it was nothing. So you own all this here,
Yeah.
and you can build at least 3. Shoot, you can build more than 3 houses
I
here.
think they'd allow for 3 houses. There's a little stream that's a seasonal stream runs through here, but
Okay.
it's not on any maps or anything. I am permitted to put it into a pipe,
Right.
so it won't really stop me from building. And I think I could work around the walnut, but maybe not. I've saved that one walnut.
So you've done some landscaping.
Oh yeah, there were about 50 weed trees cover this whole thing,
Right.
but they were weeds.
Of course, a lot of people don't know that. They think they see trees. They think, oh, it looks so nice. No, these are weeds, man. You
Yeah.
can't. These trees are trash. They can't. You can't even burn them as wood. They're like toxic. People don't know that. And then a lot of the trees that we do see, they're all clones
Yeah.
of trees from. They only. And then another thing people don't know is a lot of these trees only live to be 80, 85, 90, and then they're dead.
Yeah.
A lot of people. I know a little bit about trees. I get passionate about trees, only because my thing with trees is that most of the trees are male clone trees, totally controlled. Every tree has been planted. None of this stuff is growing naturally. You walk out into the woods, all the natural trees, they're dead in 6 years, and just new ones just keep coming. But there's the main trees that just stay there.
We have so many invasives that are taking over.
Exactly.
A
And
lot
it
of-
ain't just the beetle.
Almost all of the maples here are Norway maples, which provide no food for anything in the food chain here. And they're invasive. They send out so many seeds and nothing eats them, so they all grow. And then you wind
Right.
up with nothing but Norway maples and nothing to feed the...
Can I also give you a little argument towards that?
Mm-hmm.
Some of the problem is that these maples and these other trees, they are males. So when they're throwing out all these seeds, the females are not there to catch the seed.
Uh-huh.
They just keep rolling into males, and then the ones that the seeds do catch, they're not even real trees. They're, like you said, they're like weeds. Anyway, how about a house like this one with those big pillars,
Supposedly...
like a bank?
Marilyn Monroe used to hang out there.
Oh,
That's the rumor.
Marilyn Monroe. She used to have a 15-year-old boyfriend that lived with her for years. He's gotten pretty famous in the last 5-6 years, telling his story about Marilyn Monroe and their relationship. He said Marilyn Monroe couldn't say no. Any man could come up to Marilyn Monroe and have have sex with her, basically, because she was always so uncomfortable telling people no. And she had a 15-year-old boy. She was like a cougar to this little boy, to a young boy, for a few years. And he lived with her. He was like her male servant. Like, he massaged her every day, and very interesting. But I'm out of here. That's your electric car there?
Yep.
Yeah.
I
I like that car a lot. They have the N. Have you seen the N of this car? This is the
Yeah.
the Hyundai
Ionic 5.
Ionic 5, but they have the Ionic N.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I don't need high speed. I don't need what that car does for more money.
Right.
Let me take this long route.
Okay.
So one of these days I will put some wood chips or something down since I find this walk.
Right.
By stretching out the hill makes it so you don't have to walk up area.
Thank you.
So it's good to meet you. Elvis. Hopefully I'll run into you again.
I look forward to it. All right, I will. Hello? Hello? What's up, y'all? That was interesting, to say the least. Mr. Levy. He's like, you don't want to give me your last name? I said, okay, I'll give you my last name. Oh, that Airstream is so nice. If I had, you see, I would only buy it. He wants 15 for it, or he'll take 15 for it. He wants 25 for it, but he would take 15. And I would have to have 15 times 3 or 15 times 4 for me to even consider that. I don't buy it. If I only have 15 or 20, I wouldn't spend that. I always, you have to have at least 3 or 4 times or else it's just not worth it. Like as far as you're just gonna be killing yourself. Let me put my navigation on. Excuse me. Hillsdale, New York. Who wants a home built by this guy and his crew? I said, Joe Rogan used to be a liberal. He was like, I don't want to be on a Republican. He said, I wouldn't build a house for Republicans because then they won't pay. That's so interesting, the way people think, and what are you gonna do? I can't stop people from the way their belief system, so to speak. Excuse me. I'm gonna have my unsweetened McDonald's tea. Unsweetened McDonald's tea. It's pretty damn good, I have to be honest. Thank you for tuning in. We got off that subject about my son, so maybe we'll pick that up another time. Until then, you are appreciated. I love you. And pray for Cody. If that's your thing. Pray for Cody. I'm going to pray for him too. Which is normally not my thing. But I find it more and more like it needs to be my thing.